So, starting things off, I was way more vigilant than last time. As to not make the same mistakes, I decided to avoid combat as much as I could on this first section, taking this speedrunning trick that most players use these days instead of completing the map normally. On Legendary it is pretty handy. But I gotta say, while running across the rooftops of New Mombasa is fun, it's not quite as memorable or nostalgic as finally seeing Halo 2's hunters for the first time. So, I'm fixing to make a few mistakes here. Number one, I tried to fight an elite on Legendary like it's normal. And I tried to do a skip. I didn't quite understand this skip, and I walked around that area for a good 20 minutes before I decided to revert to the last save, trying my best to stick to that cover to keep that elite from killing me, sending me back to the next checkpoint. I didn't want to get caught in the same loop I did in the last video, that I will mention often, of constantly dying and resetting. It'll get agitating over time. This elite decided to give me a jump scare with a grenade, but I swiftly took care of on the next checkpoint, as to not get into the same loop that I was just talking about for the last section. Moving on to the next section, I avoided this firefight as to not get caught in the loop I keep referring to, constantly respawning and dying. I took out the elite as to get the ghost to make things move along a little bit quicker than having a warthog. I did make a mistake, however, going in like this. Big mistake. However, this time I was a little bit more careful with how I played the game and didn't go in gung-ho, trying to take care of this Halo 2 Jackal sniper, because everybody knows on Legendary they're demons. Also, this Shade turret tried to kill me, as well as my own teammate. Halo 2 Warthogs. Man. After taking care of the Jackal, an elite came upon me in a ghost. However, short work was made of him because I had my friends in the Warthog. Getting his sword, however, was a pretty big step because this helps me a lot throughout this run. Going up to be sure that that Jackal is dead, and yes, it is indeed dead. Moving on to the next section. Boom. This section took a little bit longer than I'd like to admit, mainly because of the ghosts on this section. Having a beam rifle makes this a little bit more difficult due to how slow you can fire with this weapon due to the overheating system, and the ghosts moving quite fast. I did try to do sword lunging. Didn't do too well because I am not accustomed to button mashing. That's why I suck at fighting games. We'll get on that on another video, possibly on a different channel. Depends on how I'm feeling. Though with my Warthog buddies, this was a little bit easier to get through, and I got past it faster than I would if I was alone. This next section gave me a bit of a scare with these ghosts getting as close to me as they did, due to Halo 2's ghost drivers liking to ram everything they see. This sword was able to help me, along with my Warthog buddies. They were a big help. Without them, I would have died a lot more than I did. I'm glad I didn't stay to help with the Warthog, because I would have got everyone killed with the Warthog, due to my incompetent driving in the Warthog specifically. Avoiding as many enemies as I can as to not die, going straight for the checkpoints, make this a little bit easier on myself. Thankfully, that sniper didn't notice me, making this infinitely easier to get past this specific firefight. I made an attempt to do another level cut, but this did not work out as to the fact that I have no idea what I'm doing, and it kind of just ended in me running around aimlessly, trying to find my way back to the main part of this level, like last time. It was interesting to see how the graphics overlapped, the original Xbox graphics versus the anniversary graphics. And here on our journey is where we took a bit of a hard left turn on our quest to beat Halo 2 on Legendary, due to the fact that I suck in every Halo 2 vehicle, and I'm not that careful. I tried to make this strategy of going in with a broken ghost, hiding, and grabbing a new ghost to go forward without having to fight these guys work, but due to the fact that there are drones behind this, it didn't work. I tried to take a more stealthy approach this time with the sniper rifle, but due to the fact that I missed the shot, and I didn't have a full clip, I had to attempt to go in with the sword again. I wanted to see if maybe I could get a sword lunge to work, but due to the fact that I'm really bad at button combos, this did not work. This, I don't even remember what I was doing. I have no words. For this part, I tried to see if maybe I could sneak past all of the enemies and just go straight for the drones and take out all the drones with my beam rifle. But due to the fact that I have a mid-aim, and there are more drones than I had ammo, this also didn't work out too well for me in the end. It almost worked, but I made a mistake. For here, I went into the middle so I could get a better gun with more ammo. This was my best go so far, but there were just more grunts than I could handle at the moment, so that didn't work out either. Again, trying to go with the stealthy approach with the sniper rifle as to keep from getting too close to the enemy. This worked for a good minute, but once I ran out of ammo, there's really nothing I could do. I tried to get in close and personal with them again. Actually, I think this is where I succeeded the most. Not physically, but mentally. I was able to get a good idea of what I'd have to do if I were to succeed in this level. That doesn't mean that I got anywhere close these next 2 attempts. I died. I died a lot. Multiple times in the same sitting. Eventually I got to the spot where I was able to get a good idea of how that turret shot, which is what typically gave the most damage to me. Hiding behind this bus was a lifesaver for me, as it is in most of this run. This is my successful run, technically. I did pass this section. I was able to avoid the elites. I was able to take out the grunts fairly easily using this plasma rifle and my energy sword and a conveniently placed barrel, if you want to call it that. This was not the problem. The problem was the drones. Again, I went in too fast. I didn't give myself time to fight off the drones. Even though I had the plasma rifle this time, technically I could have done this with very little effort. This, however, was my successful run all around. It did take me 2 tries to get said successful run, but I did eventually get here. This time, I was a little bit more strategic with how I took on the drones. Instead of running in gung-ho with the Ghost, I used the plasma rifle like I should have last time. I did, however, go back to get the Ghost once I was done with the drones. I wanted to go back and get the Needlers. I know they're not the best for Halo 2 Legendary, but they were especially helpful with the drones because of their tracking ability. Now, this next section, I don't really have anything written down in the script for, so I'm just going to take this moment to talk about my upcoming Twitch channel. I don't exactly know when I plan on releasing the Twitch channel. I plan on putting it out sometime in October. Again, unless there are some setbacks, which there shouldn't be, I will be up sometime in October. I can't give you an exact date because I personally don't know. These drones were easy enough once I got the tracking ability of the needles, and because of the drones having needlers, it was a little bit easier to get more ammo just in case I came across any more drones, which are a constant struggle for me in any Halo game. They were a struggle for me in the first episode of this series. Moving forward, this section was easy. I didn't have any resets at all, and the Shade turret was a little bit easier to kill this time due to having a Ghost instead of being on foot. The Ghost last time was already damaged, but this time I had a more intact Ghost. Now it is damaged like the last one now, mainly because of the Jackal that kept on shooting me, and this elite. I forgot about him. I still don't have a script, by the way. Moving on to this next section, I do have a script for this part's. I get back on the Ghost. I try to do another jump. This failed a couple times. This was attempt number 5, and this was a success. Again, I tried to do a skip. The skip did not work like usual because I really don't understand how to use skips at all. I wandered this section for a good 30 minutes before I decided to come back, reset the checkpoint so I could continue the level normally. Due to the checkpoint reset, I was able to go back and do that a little bit more smoothly, so I'd have a more intact ghost for the next events. These ghosts gave me a bit of a scare because I thought I'd have to fight them, but thankfully they were more focused on their scripted event than fighting me. Here is where things get a little agitating for me personally. This is what made this video take so long to come out. It took me 2 days to get past this section. We're not counting anything before. It took me 2 days to get past this section alone. And a lot of it isn't recorded because I just got so angry at times I had to leave and just do a lot of this off camera so I could take it at my own pace. I got past the first one with a pretty close call. I was almost dead. The ghost had a lot of damage on it. The second one is what did me in. Let's see how many times I died. And that's just a handful of all of the deaths that I had. I don't even know what I was trying to do here. I think I was trying to kill the guy on the turret, but it didn't work out, obviously, as you can see. One checkpoint later, I made an attempt to ram the shade turret to see if maybe that would help. Off camera, my ghost had gotten destroyed, so I made an attempt to get a new one. This was a successful attempt, but it didn't come without its close call. This is the point where we started to get on the home stretch. I was able to get back to where I was when I died last time. This time I was able to get past that first and second and third one without many close calls. There were still close calls, don't get me wrong, but it was just a little bit easier this time around. I tried to be more strategic this time, but I fell out of the ghost. I thought it was alive, but it wasn't, so I sadly had to make a checkpoint revert. This time I was able to hide inside of it and destroy it from the inside, so I wouldn't have to be on the outside getting shot by Mr. Turret here. This plan was successful, and I used this strategy to take out the other vehicles that I encountered on this specific highway. I did die here though, but that was off camera. This is where I succeed. I ditch the broken one, I grab a new ghost, and then I just blow right past everything. I don't even bother to give it any thought. I just go right past it. I had attempted this a time before, and I was very adamant that it wouldn't work. I had to pause. I was in disbelief that it worked. And this is how I beat Halo 2 on Legendary.